Right, before we get started, some of you might not be familiar with our office here. You go to the bathroom, go through that door. Men's bathroom is straight across the hall into the other door. Women's bathroom's right here behind the wall. Alarms go off, fire alarm, anything goes off, we need to get out of here. Go through this door right here, turn right, go through the metal door, you'll be outside there. Lead up in the back corner of the parking lot. Our break room, you walk back coming in, I'm sure everybody saw it, it's right here on the right. Over here.
That's why you need to wear your safety glasses when you're on the premises.
What else? That's it. Before we get started, I'm thinking of a safety meeting, but something coming to my mind is a lot more important, I feel like, right now than that. North Durham and South Durham, about less than a month ago, North Durham got hit, their office got hit 2 weeks before our office did. We got broke into and had our whole hog stolen, only the whole hogs.
At both facilities.
Both facilities. Different times, 2 weeks apart, but they came in and stole our whole hogs. All our trucks are set up the same, come from the factory, set up the same, so if you know everything is on one truck, you know what's out on every truck. But they come in and they took the whole hogs, didn't take the oilers, didn't take the hoses, didn't take clamps, didn't take tools, anything, just the whole hogs. So they were talking about it earlier with all these other crews that are working around Durham here. They do a lot of boring. Can't point fingers because I don't know who got them, but it's lucky stuff for.
When you say whole hog, it doesn't sound like a whole lot to it, but that's probably
That's about 4 or 5 grand a piece.
60
for
or
a
7,000 dollars worth
Yeah.
of stuff stolen.
The reason for it is you can't get them. COVID and all that stuff, that's why there's a shortage of them right now. So if they can't get a hold of them, they're getting them any way they can.
I just had
Could we-
4 stolen out of the back of our trucks, and then $30,000 worth of boring equipment for a boiler got stolen.
When was that?
Last week. It started on Thursday last week.
So your camera.
But like I said,
didn't do no good?
We tried to replace them and
Cameras didn't do no good.
We had him on camera, but it didn't, nothing where you can identify him or anything like.
They cut the fence, come in, hit every truck. We got the hogs off every
Hood
truck.
pulled up like he had something over his head. I don't know what it was. but
So they hit both facilities the same night?
No, 2 weeks
They
apart.
hit North Durham, 2 weeks later they hit us. I'm like, they hit Clay
We
too.
got hit last Thursday.
Yeah, we
I
got.
had 3 stolen from the Raleigh Park Pike Yard, and then got 1 stolen at the hotel here in Durham. And
So they
then-
took all hogs from you too?
And our F5 Falcon locator for
Yeah.
board rig and the monitor. That's over $30,000.
Yeah, we thought it was a fluke, because I mean, they just found something heavy, thought it was scrap metal, but then when it hit this office, they knew exactly what they were.
they're shortage. So if nobody can buy them, get them over this
It's a service vessel, it's pneumatic, where you hook it up to an air compressor and a force pump. So you
Oh,
can't-
okay, something like the war, on the war line, and you tap into a lane.
No, we usually not under the road, if we cross up under the road.
Some people call them missiles, bullets. Yeah.
It'll thump.
Yeah, okay. I
All
just never knew the name.
all the power crews use them.
So just be aware of that, lock them up, because they are hot demand right now. Hotter than I thought, I didn't know y'all got into
I'd
it.
like to see your film footage, and see if it matches the same person from the hotel footage.
All right, y'all have anything else? All right, Craig, I guess, turn it over to you.
Okay, welcome to the Durham UCC for October 2022. Now, you have to bear with me because I'll be changing here and changing here as well. So it might be a little bit delay. There are a couple of slides that I have that they're looking at online that you won't see here, but I will talk about them. We move forward. All right, tackling hunger. October is tackling hunger month, and there's a couple of things that you can do to help those that are less fortunate than yourself. You can donate some non-perishable. When I say non-perishable, it's got a longer shelf life. Obviously, all food is perishable, right? Given it's not going to last 100 years. But some things that do stay on the shelf a little bit longer than most, canned goods, peanut butter, dry beans, brown rice. You know, the season is upon us. Thanksgiving is right around the corner next month, and then Christmas follows up right behind it. So if you can buy some canned goods and peanut butter, that type of stuff to give to folks at the food shelter, they would be most appreciative. If you don't feel like you want to do that, but you would like to donate some money, they will take your money and they will go out and purchase those goods themselves. Sometimes they might be able to do a little bit better than you can. I'm sure they've worked out some deals with the local grocery stores. Hey, you know, I'm buying this not for myself, but for the food bank to distribute, and they can get some better deals. And if you don't want to do that, you can also support the food bank, right? You can volunteer your time to help deliver those meals. I know some places actually box the stuff up and deliver it to folks who are shut in. But if you don't want to do that, you can also work at the food bank, box some stuff up and put it in folks' cars. I've done that in the past, and it helps out a whole lot. Anybody have any questions on that? All right. Highway safety tips, right? Have a way to reach your kids. I don't know any kids out there under or over the age of 11 that don't have a cell phone, right? So if they're at that age and they are trick or treating, hopefully they're not trick or treating by themselves. I always went with my kids when they were old enough to not have dad trick or treating. They weren't trick or treating anymore. But if you let your kids go in the neighborhood, make sure they have a way to reach out to you and you can reach out to them. Check all treats before eating them or consuming them. There's always, hey, back in when we were growing up, there could be razor blades in the candy bars or whatever. I think that was an urban legend. Nobody ever found anything like that. But you just want to make sure that you're checking the treats and make sure they're not open prior to consuming them. Drive carefully if you're out and about on Halloween night or Halloween. I always play the what if game if you're driving down the road, you know, and there's cars, especially if there's cars parked on both sides. What if a kid darts out past the car trying to get across the street to get to that house that's got all the great candy, right? So just slow your roll and cover your brakes to be prepared to. If the kids are going out, like other clothing, as always, reflective vests, flashlight. I said chem lights, right? You get them, the military used to use them. They come in different colors. You snap them, you shake them. They're non-toxic, non-corrosive. And you can attach them to there. They'll burn from anywhere from 8 to 12 hours. It all depends on the colors, but they are a great way to light your kids up. Watch out for foods that your kids may have an allergy to, especially a peanut or a nut allergy. Don't let them touch them or consume them. If you're giving out candy, keep your light on or lit up all night long until you're out of candy, and then turn it off so folks know you're no longer in business. If you're going away, make sure you arm your security system because it is a night for tricks, not only treats, but for tricks as well. So egging of the house, rolling, all kind of crazy stuff does happen. Adjust your security cameras to make sure that they're pointing in the areas that you feel like they're most vulnerable in your house. And last but not least, use common sense. When we were going over this at the first of the month, I kind of joked. I said, well, that leaves a lot of people out using common sense. But please use common sense when you're looking at this stuff. Mr. Lewis Panther wants to do a few words, so he wants to let you know that volume, and you'll see that on the state slide, is continuing to climb. So please use the 3 C's when you're dealing with this stuff. Stay calm, continuous, or courteous, and communicate not only with the folks who are locating, but the excavators out in the field. And we're going to cover a little bit about that communication in a couple more slides. The LRPC has got some letters going out to folks who are professional excavators out there doing excavation without calling 811, right? Number one, they're breaking the law, but it's cheap insurance. Yes, you do have to wait your 3 working days. You can dig on your 4th day. But if you identify all the potential dangers that you may encounter out there and it's free, why not do it? So they're working on why, or trying to understand why folks are doing it. The dirt report is supposed to be released prior to the 18th. That's when the CGA, Common Ground Alliance, is going to meet in San Antonio, Texas, and that's going to be the national event. So they're supposed to have that released prior to that. I'm looking forward. We got a new liaison coming on board, supposed to be here at the end of the month, And we'll be looking forward to coming in because we're having to double down on some of the areas or some of the promises that the past liaisons have made. I did a Pikes Plus Monday morning, like 7 o'clock in the morning toward the mountains because he had promised it to them. And, you know, we want to fulfill our promises we make to those folks. So as soon as we get him on board, he'll be taking over a lot of that stuff. Last but not least, enjoy the onset of fall and stay safe. It's beautiful out there. Be nice to sit at home and drink a cup of coffee and watch the dogs play in the yard. But, you know, I made an obligation to you folks and I want to be here doing that with y'all. Extraordinary circumstances. Has anybody ever had to request that before or heard about that? No? Okay. So there was a couple people when the remnants of Ian come through that they did declare an extraordinary circumstance. And if you called up or did a RTE ticket and it was in the area that you're requesting to locate, you'll get, hey, these two companies have requested extraordinary circumstance. The location is going to be pushed to the right some. Just be aware of that. If you ever have a question, if you get that when you request to locate, these people requested extraordinary circumstance. Wonder who else has done it, right? You can go on to the 811 website, go to resources, member services, and then there is a Excel spreadsheet down there that member services manager keeps up and populates. You can even go back to the past ones to see some from a year or two ago. When it started, who requested it, when it started, and when it ended, and in what counties that it was requested in as well. Some of them are contract locators and some of them are utility itself. I cheat. I go to the A1 website with a little search bar with the little magnifying glasses. I just type extraordinary and hit enter and it brings me to that page too. So either way, you can get to that page. So communicate. This is kind of a follow-up of that previous slide. Make sure that whoever is requesting to locate, right? The supervisor, crew leader, whatever you want to call them on the ground is the person, the contact information, the name and the number is on that locate request. Don't give Judy or Jill in the office because when a locator or utility owner calls up, say, yeah, Jill, I'm calling about 123 North Main Street. I don't know anything about that. I sit in the office. Well, your name's on that ticket. I just call them in. I do what they tell me to, right? Cool. She calls them in, but if somebody else is going to be over that job in the field, that needs to be the contact name and information on that locate request. Okay, so this is a reminder. Make sure that that is happening. All right, here's the slide that you don't have that I added this morning prior to us coming over here because my boss asked me to. So I want to keep getting paid and I do what she asked me to. It's the locate. So as a reminder, if you are a locator or you have contract locators, they're supposed to be putting what on the ground as of 2019, October 2019? Operator ID, very good. At the beginning, the end, and every 200 linear foot in between there. That is the law. That is not a best practice. That is required by law. The operator ID. Beginning, the end, and every 200 linear foot. What about if it's greater than 4 inches, the size of that utility? And that could be a conduit package as well. What are they supposed to be putting? The size of that package, right? So if it's a 10-inch water line, at the beginning, the end, there needs to be 10-inch in the operator ID. Now, they have to put the size of that facility every 50 foot now. Why is that important? You might know. Your tolerance zone just expanded, right? So I take that 10, I divide it in half, add that 5 to my 24, and I've got almost 30 inches that I'm supposed to hand dig to expose that utility before I can bring mechanized equipment in there. Remember, if it's above ground, you don't know what size it is, you go from the outside of the paint mark. If you know the size of the facility 10-inch, then that is actually measured from the outside of that utility. 10-inch water line, 5-inch either way. Now you've got to expand your tolerance zone. Does that make sense? And again, that is part of the law change October 2019. Does anybody have any questions about that online? All right, cool. Now we're caught up. So as always, this is across the states of North Carolina, and we're looking at, and it's gonna be September last month versus 2021. And you can see almost an 8% increase in the locate requests across the state of North Carolina. Moving to the right, that's gonna be a year to date, and you can see it's almost just shy of 7%. So again, as Lewis alluded to earlier, ticket volume is up for the state of North Carolina. Transmissions, 3.4% compared to September of last year, and 3% year to date compared to this time last year. So can anybody tell me the difference between a transmission and a ticket? A ticket request and a transmission? Might have some money in my pocket here if you get it right. Let's see what I got. 40. Huh? What?
He didn't get money with us.
I've tried that trick too many times. Nobody answered it though, right? See there?
Tickets are what calls in, and transmissions are how many facilities they.
Very good. So tickets, hey, 123 North Main Street, that's one ticket. Transmission is we draw a polygon around that with a 250-foot buffer, and all the utilities that are going to be included in that request that transmission goes out. So it could be Duke Energy, it could be Dominion, Piedmont Natural Gas, Google, Verizon, hometown provider, and it averages about 5.6 to 5.7. It varies, Roger. Downtown, obviously, you're gonna have a whole lot more. Out in the country, there'll be less. So good answer. All right, so looking at the volume, let me get hold of the phone line. Looking at the volume, you can see the 3 hour did decrease 29.5%. Last month, the new tickets actually went up 12.1%, which is great. I mean, you guys are in the county here are able to get that locate request done within 3 working days. Ticket update, 5.4% decrease is outstanding as well, right? So folks are actually managing their tickets now. They're not, as soon as I get that work order, I'm calling it in and I'm updating. I said the job's gonna take 2 days and I'm on my 5th update. Something's wrong, right? Because it's costing the folks who are receiving that money. Every time we send a transmission, you guys are getting ding, bing, 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 and it does cost money. The average locates per day in Durham, 376. So year to date, we're looking at 14.4% decrease. So continuing that average, doing a good job here. The new ticket count is 3.9 at 42,571. Even though it was down last month, the ticket update year to date is actually up 10.3%. And the average locate per day, 356, which is, I mean, that's a pretty good volume as a locator to be receiving those on average. So if we look at all the places that those tickets were distributed, out of the 8,658, obviously Durham always comes out on top at 8,120. But then you can see some of the smaller ones. I mean, Orange Factory, Parkwood actually called a ticket in. So we congratulate and applaud them for doing that. So this is the slide that we started including, and these are all the damages that occurred in Durham that were reported to 811. As a reminder, if you have contact with the excavator and they tear a utility up by law, they're supposed to call 811 and say, hey, I'm putting in gas and I hit the water line. Bam, that's it. As a follow-up, we're asking the operators, hey, if somebody tears your stuff up and they didn't call us, please follow up and let us know. We'll only capture that information one time. If they've already called, we'll say, yep, they called, thanks for following up with us. Or nope, they didn't call. You know, we ain't heard anything about this, but we're going to capture it now. We don't capture the name of the company who did it or who was running the excavator when it happened. We just say, hey, it's putting in water and hit gas, putting in gas, hit water. Putting in water, hit telecommunications. That's all we capture. We roll that up at the end of the year, and then the first of the year, we will present it to you. But there was 61 damages. Did anybody here have a damage in the room?
Probably.
If you're digging in the ground, it's gonna happen, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not if, but when. So some important dates that are taking place in 811 world, the state UCC, the North Carolina Utility Coordinating Committee, is going to meet November 8th next month. Dominion Energy in Asheville. So if you'd like to be part of that, please reach out and you can check that out, or you can go to the ncucc.org website. I do believe they're gonna have a hybrid like we're doing here to be online as well. Underground Damage Prevention Review Board is gonna take place October the 18th. That's next week. And that's gonna be at the NC 811 Event Center. I think you can dial in and listen to the proceedings on the phone. If you show up in person, obviously you can't interject anything in there. There's board members are handpicked and vetted by the governor, and they are listening to some cases that sometimes have some seriousness behind them. So that's why if you show up, that they just want you to observe only. The 811 board meeting is going to be the 21st of this month, and that's going to be in Wilmington at the Hotel Ballast. If you would like to attend, you can reach out to Stephanie. Stephanie at nc811.org is her contact information, and she will be happy to let you know the details for that. The Locate Resolution Partnership Committee, or the LRPC as it's commonly referred to, is going to meet next month, the 16th. And again, that's going to be at the NC 811 Event Center. Has anybody ever been there? You've been there, haven't you? Yeah, I thought you had. Nice facility, isn't it? Yeah. So come check it out if you've never been there and be a part of that. So the Locate Resolution Partnership Committee is kind of a go-between the lower UCC, the counties, and then the state UCC. They work on stuff they work on the updates. And that's been a really big one since I've come on board with 811 is, why are these companies who say it's going to take a day, 2 days or less continuously updating? And then sometimes they pull that out and say, hey, 2 or more updates, and then we've got the naughty list. So I had to talk to a contractor the other day who did plumbing in the Pride area, and they were very cooperative. They didn't know that they were doing that. They didn't know they were showing up on the naughty list, and obviously they want to stay off of that. If you are on Facebook or you do social media anytime, you can go check us out. We have a website or a web page, Safe Digging Sports, on Facebook. And I think it was started by Mr. Brian Morehouse, but now I think Steve Moore and Ann Rushing have taken it over. She's actually done some podcasts around Safe Digging Sports. We are going to be at the NC State football game October 27th. When I say we, it's going to be Howard Corey and myself. We're going to set up our tent, do our giveaways, and we're going to actually bring the mini excavator out there. Has anybody seen that? Played on it? For fun, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to take it out there, and I got to fill the gas tank up because I figure it's probably going to be worn out with the adults and the kids that come through there at the football game. We've done this the past 2 years, and it's always been well attended. We want to remind everybody next month is elections coming up, not only state, but federal. We want you to vote, right? But we want you to help protect the utilities that service those polling stations, the electricity and the communication. If you see somebody digging around there, you don't even have to engage them. Just anybody know how you can check them out right quick and see if they got a call-in ticket? How? Near ticket off the app, right? You can do it off your computer, or you can do it off of your portable device, do a near ticket. If you get close to them, 100, 200 foot, just to make sure. You don't want that polling station to go down, because then it's going to make national news, right? Polling station, votes didn't get counted, and there's a big scandal, and that they're going on the fly. So please help us highlight that to keep folks safe around there. We want to remind everybody, you can invite a coworker or a colleague to this UCC. We do have a new person here, and you may want to do some introductions after I get done with this high-speed, low-drag presentation here. And we've got some folks online as well, Jeremy, so we'll check them out. But please invite somebody you think will benefit from being here. As always, a copy of this presentation will be uploaded to the NCUCC along with a sign-in roster. Hopefully everybody got a chance to sign in who's here today. And I will take everybody's sign in that's online and add it to this roster as well. As always, there is your good-looking education team led by Miss Ann Rushing. And I tell everybody, I know it looks like oil on my, I sweat. I was working that day really hard, and that's the story I'm sticking to. So yeah, not sure what's going on there. Hey, thank you for your time and attention. This is the bottom of that other slide. Yep. That concludes my presentation. So I'm gonna turn it back over to Jerry.
Thank you, Barry. Anything concerned about what he had to say? Any issues that are going on out there?
I have a question, not pertaining to what he said, but, as far as what we're doing now, we'll go out, engineers asking our inspectors to go out and preview a job. Just look at a job and give them some information on, as far as, what side of the road we should be on. Is there any way, or is there any, is it, where we can call and get like a design locate or somebody that's come out and say, hey, this side of the road is flooded with utilities. This road here this side may not be as loaded as this side here. Just give us a little bit of.
Yeah, so you can request a design locate. If they don't want to come out and do that, then they're supposed to by law give you access to their maps. So you can look at them and say, okay, you guys are on this side of the road and we're gonna be on that side of the road.
Now, one thing about those now is they're not like priority.
15.
So it
15
might-
working days, yeah.
Yeah, it'll take a while.
Okay.
And sometimes for whatever reason, locators ignore them, right? Because you're not actually digging, you're not gonna tear anything
Maybe
up.
they'll see
So-
that it's a survey and they won't even show up.
So you might even say, I just need access to your maps. I just need to know which side of the road you're on. And they have to give you that if they don't
And I
come
don't know
out.
where their surveying design teams go. Ours go to engineering first. If they can supply the map, they take care of those. If not, they send them out to a locator. So I don't know about USIC and all those yet.
They go out to the things.
They go out straight to the locators.
There's actually a thing going on across the state of North Carolina, which I found out a couple months ago, but evidently it's been in work for a couple, 3 years now, called Project Atlas. Have y'all ever heard of that? So the state is trying to map all the utilities across the state of North Carolina. And the DOT needs it because when they get ready to go move a road or do an improvement to a road, they already know what utilities are gonna be involved and who to reach out to. And maybe whatever they're trying to do, they might have to shift left or right to avoid those utilities or any interaction with those utilities. I understand that some utilities are having a little bit of a heartburn about giving that information up, right? Security issues, especially with the long haul fiber. And then some of the, obviously, natural gas with the valve locations and stuff like that. So, but that is something that is taking place. It's called Operation Atlas. Or Project Atlas.
You know, it's the second one that I've been to, last month and this month. We have no utility people attending. How do you make people attend?
I can't make, so I am a
It'd be
facilitator.
nice to have.
I'm here to support Jeremy, whatever he needs
I've
in the
asked,
group as well.
I've asked the guys in the field to talk to the people when they see them out there. I have talked to people out there. See how
But there's not even a locator been here the last 2 times.
I know some locators,
My name is Lynetta. I'm a locator. But I'm I'm a locator for the town of Clayton. I come from USIC.
Yeah. I saw that from Clayton.
I have a question. I'm going through the issue right now where a excavator digging and called in tickets. It's a project, sewer project, huge. He called in the tickets around April, updated them in March. He hit the line the end of last month. I received another ticket. He's now claiming that I'm at fault. And I've always been told if there's no update tickets, that ticket, apparently, it's dead. Ticket was in March, so he hit a 3-phase power. Bad. And the transformer junction box was like feet away from where he was digging. Am I right to say that he was supposed to call him a 3-hour?
So man, he's done a couple things wrong.
You done a lot.
Clarify me.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if he didn't have a good ticket, he's working without a locating request anyway.
Yeah, once they expire.
15 working days. Once he's outside that 15 working days, he doesn't have a ticket anyway. He's legitimately working without a ticket. So he can't even call in a 3-hour rush ticket. he was working that close to facilities, he didn't do due diligence.
Spit
He
that thing out
didn't
yet?
get located ticket. He still gotta call in for a 3 hour ticket either, so he's done.
I done lost my wife, right?
He's had fall all the way around.
Thank you.
Got a lawyer with him all day long.
Not gave him all this answer. He's saying that he's
I got my moments.
trying to put it on, saying that he didn't get a response.
What can I do? I can't give up. I gotta keep going, right?
I don't know if he's trying to say.
Coming back.
I don't know who that is, everybody's on.
I'll see there.
In March.
If we call in a ticket, I'm sure this is putting sense on response. So we have to get a response.
I think it comes straight from him.
Yeah.
It's straight from.
You get a response for everybody in that area, you know?
Yeah.
You talked to him, you said, well, what's your latest, what's your? He's just sitting back on you then. Yeah.
He said, well, I have opened, here's the that.
You're covered as long as he doesn't have a valid ticket. The only time you can call a 3 hour in is anybody know? I've got a valid ticket. I waited my 3 working days. The utilities or the contractor did not respond within those 3 working days. By law, I'm supposed to check my positive response and then spool up a 3 hour ticket only to those utilities that did not respond within the 3 working days. Don't send it out to everybody because everybody's gonna get a transmission fee if you do that. They can only do that one time after the 3 days and 3 hours over, then I have to do a retransmit and that. And again, only specify, I need this to go out to XYZ utility because they have, okay, yeah. If you've done that and you've done your due diligence, the law specifies that you can dig with care. Still know when there's utilities in that area. It's up to you. I mean, it's speculative. Your care might be with a whisk broom, your care is with a track hoe excavator, 8,000 ripping up the ground.
We got no response for a good ticket, and then we told me for 3 hour, located last week.
Right. Are you checking the positive response we send the crew out there? Okay. So just get my information, get with me, and then I can reach out and say, with USIC.
Just for this weekend, last week.
Yep.
I sent Brandon Sneed down and checked a list of the ones that never got responded to.
I think I got an email from him asking about that.
Yeah, it's me, I sent a list of the 3 hours and never got responded.
You sent it to me?
Sent Brandon forward.
Okay, yeah. I asked him, I said, give me a list, let me look at it. Okay, I'll give it to you.
What do you have?
The law says you've done what you're supposed to do, right? You've requested your 3 working days, you've waited, check your positive response, the law. I see everybody's located except for the XYZ company. Pull up my 3 hour, only request the XYZ company come out and locate the after 3 hours, they still hadn't located. So you've done, I mean, what else do you do? You've asked them nicely, the 3 working days and the 3 hour. You still got to go out there and do the job, right? So the law states you can dig with care, knowing that facility is still in the ground. We ask that you reach direct if you have supervisor number or locator. So look, I've done my 3 days, I did my 3 hours, you guys still aren't responding. I got to go out there and do the work. It's got to be put in the ground.
Yeah, but the utilities, even with the start being cut, that happened, and none of those marked down because they didn't respond. Who's responsible for that?
I don't see what the law, I can't tell you who's responsible. The law states if you've done your due diligence, you can question 3 working days, you've done your 3 hours, they still haven't responded, you can go out and dig with care.
Question, so say USIC is located due here.
Yep.
You call it located, because they didn't mark that one, you call in a 3 hour ticket. Come out there and mark a 3 hour ticket and clear the regular ticket. Is Duke Energy billed twice for that?
No, they're only getting billed once because the USIC did not fulfill that function within that first 3-day request.
That's the bill for it, is that?
No, they
It's
won't
been a lot of the trick lately. You don't want the first ticket.
and wait till they're done, because it might be 4 days, right? They get an extra day in there if they do that. It could be, you know, just for whatever
They
reason.
don't
they're
need
off.
consent to get it the first 3 days.
Yep.
But it's because they're understaffed.
I don't know.
Remember, the last time I needed to hire more people, he told me it was good.
I didn't say anything about that.
You use my wits, and I tell you.
So you know, again.
Anyone to stay?
Lawyers get involved. If they continue to say, yes, you are, then it goes to the legal system. I mean, if they have a good lawyer and goes, hey, I damaged it, but I don't have a good ticket, then probably still need to settle. I mean, they're gonna go to court, pay all those fines and their lawyers and still have to pay for it. More than likely.
A ticket to locate 350th Street. There's a 3-phase on Front Street. Ticket is called for breaking. And they keep updating that ticket for breaking, but then they need the 3-phase on Front Street. That,
It's only valid for whatever is specified in that locate request. So if they said 123 North Main Street located, legally, that's all you're supposed to locate.
they put their tangle wall, ticket call for breaking. But they.
Then they're following outside their scope, and that's where the legal department gets involved again. Yeah, they need to call recommit that ticket to say that stuff has changed on there, and then they can wait 3 working days. Yeah, how do y'all call tickets in? Ticket entry? Y'all call in tickets as well?
I have.
I know, but you work for the city, right? So you guys take it off or no? How do you call your tickets in? They call the phone or they're using remote ticket entry on the computer? If you do remote ticket entry, you can actually go back and research tickets up to 4 years. That's what we're required to keep them by law. As an RT user, you can go back and research, put the ticket number in, and you can pull that ticket number up yourself. Yep, and it'll say exactly what was specified on there.
Just wanted to ask that question, because I got fault for that.
If you,
You got the same contract, you can report it to the damage. Damage people.
Yeah, it's a lot that it's, I don't think like.
So the power line is cities.
kind of hop on it, on an internal.
Oh, then the city would do their due diligence, their research, ask for all the tickets and everything, I would think, but they do their investigation, I would think.
In the court.
Ron, you always stir stuff up. If it's Halloween, is he a witch?
So there's really nothing that they can do about USIC going in, clearing a ticket, not paying the ground, only that we are still not doing the facility, nothing. Something we can do, after clearing tickets, get paid for, it, you're not paid for it.
When I was over there, that happened, they reported it.
Like you.
Yeah, he's on the food chain for USIC. In this area.
You don't like to give you a complaint if it's got like the ball, either. You know, then tell me, I need to do this today.
Now, you told me that this way to do a complaint, there's a lot of red tape. You told me where you fill out a form and all
Yeah,
that.
they got their own website, Underground Dam Review Board. It's not, you don't have to handwrite it anymore. It's all electronic. Submit electronically. You can follow it, the process electronically. See when it's going to come up. Yeah. If you're having issues, I mean, I think it's worth the money. The time.
All this stuff.
You may get some resolution, yeah. I've got 3 people online here. One of them is with SEC from Clinton Brindle.
Yeah, that's me.
And then Adam Bailey is with mine. And then Tasha Johnson. And I don't know.
Robert Smith is also on here. He's our safety coordinator.
Okay, he has signed in. Tasha Johnson with the City of Durham Public Works. And then Adam Bailey is with Mostec.
Just based off what I heard about the ticket there, it doesn't sound like that person has a leg to stand on from a legal precedent, to be honest with you. Because at 12 days, you're updating the ticket, and at 15 days, it's expired. So they didn't update it on the 12th day. Even when the 15th day hits, it's still going to be an expired ticket because it doesn't reset until after that. So.
Plus digging on the wrong road that you haven't called in ain't gonna help either.
Definitely, that's definitely not going to help. You're right.
Y'all have anything else? Any other issues?
Any projects going on, putting in gas? You guys putting in gas for Dominion?
Yes.
Where you putting in gas at?
Put it in everywhere except for, Saturday. Where do we got, who's running the service? Where's Chip at? Where's he at?
We got two guys online from SEC. They can help you out now. You
Yeah,
can do
well,
a
I know,
lifeline.
I think Ramondo's on Hebron Road.
Well, yeah, Fuquay.
That's why bigger projects coming up. Starting 98 high, 180, Leesville, various people get up.
All they run,
So
else for you,
I think
about 8 miles of 6-inch steel.
8 miles of 6-inch steel, high pressure,
Grand line.
like low or high pressure distribution.
That's kind of what it is, yeah, high pressure distribution. It keeps it away from the transmission, right?
All the tools.
That keeps it away from the transmission.
399 and below. All that changed.
Yeah, 'cause almost all the transmission, and then you don't even have it anymore. Big transmission.
We got 3.
8 miles of 6-inch.
I think you would run something bigger if you're gonna run 8 miles. You know what I mean, that seems like it's all under, you know, if I'm gonna put the money in running 6-inch steel at 8 miles, I wouldn't run center. Be done with it. Yeah, at least 8. You have a lot more volume up in your system.
Maybe you start honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1980s 5/8 service running around the block.
Does anybody online have any project that we can talk about? Tosh, how about you? Or any issues?
I'm sorry, did you say my name?
I did. Do you have
Oh,
any
okay.
projects or issues that are going on in Durham?
I do have some updates I can share. Good afternoon, everybody. Tasha Johnson, City of Durham. So going back to the question about utility strikes, we have had a few water line, sewer line hits over the last few months, and I just wanted to remind anyone listening that calling our utility locator is not the same as calling the Department of Water Management. There's a specific process that must be followed. So anytime there's a strike, the number to call is 919-560-4344. And they will prompt you through the process to notify water management. We've had a few situations where utilities ran for hours before anyone decided to call the actual department. So just a reminder there. And also for our permitting group, we will be sending out monthly updates. I'm not sure if any of the people in the room are receiving those updates. We've just started doing it about 2 months ago. Just reminding people of the requirements associated with our permit process. the process for calling water management will be part of those updates, but also other updates about how deep utilities should go, how to request a permit, pre-con meetings and things of that nature, just to try to keep everybody up to date on what our procedures are here with the city. That's all.
Thank you. You guys good? You with SEC or?
Match that.
Okay. You got somebody online too.
Yes. I did have one
I
question.
didn't know he was there.
Go ahead.
When you go ahead and locate.
Yep.
Do they look on there to see what utilities are in that area
Who's that?
or like USD? We've had one that they did not mark because of, I guess it came up, it wasn't no utilities in that area. And, it said with no conflict. I didn't know if they, one say here, they look at the map.
Some utilities are scrubbing that before it goes to a locator for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's cheaper for them to preview it online. Oh, we don't have anything underground, right? Everything's aerial. But in between the time them looking at that map and the utility was actually installed and is waiting to be updated on the mapping system could be a time lapse. And what's happening is they don't know that something is buried underground when they scrub that ticket. Everything's aerial, clear the ticket. Don't even send it to the locator. That's happening.
Yeah, but we have to call in a 3-hour ticket because we didn't actually know that the builder came out and said, yeah, they installed fiber about a month ago through here. And so we called it back in.
And there's a time lapse between what they're looking at on the maps and then what is actually taking place in the field.
Now, if they go back and look at that again, we called in 3 hours, or will they look at that map again and just say, there's nothing in the area, are they gonna clear it?
Well, if you give specific verbiage, hey, I know that there's utility in here per the homeowner, there is something was buried underground in the last few days. Need to come out and have it located. If they know that, then they should send somebody out there.
We had
You're doing your due
similar-
diligence. You did your 3 days. They cleared the ticket and somebody stopped you. Thank you for doing that, right? Because now you're building bridges with that utility owner. Dude, I know you cleared this ticket, but there's something out here that's been put in the ground and your mapping hadn't been updated yet. Yep. Thank you for doing that. Yep. Did they come out and locate it after that? Did they come locate after that?
No, we still get, well, we called it in yesterday, so we.
Okay.
Back and see if it's located.
Okay.
But I didn't understand why they would, why they.
Some utilities are scrubbing the tickets. Some are worse than others.
Because the way fiber's going in, I mean, it's just.
They're running to the houses now. Yeah. So.
Yeah, we've had
About
issues.
3 or
with
4
that.
years ago in High Point, there's somebody, he was there then, I think. When the cable company was going through the tickets and they were saying no conflict because the main line was overhead, the feeder line was overhead. They didn't want to pay somebody to come out and locate the drops.
Right. You may or may
So
not.
we had to drop a couple of drops. And of course, the homeowner didn't agree with that. They were quite upset because that's their internet, working from home, you name it. And we put the ticket, we put the company back on the ticket. And they took it off.
Some policy, and it was Spectrum in the area that said it's cheaper for us to go repair it than to have somebody locate it.
They weren't gonna pay for the
We'll go across town.
locator to come out, so they took it off the ticket, so I mean, my stereo.
Or sit there and we can sit there for 3 hours.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes it may show up 3 hours, sometimes it may be longer than that.
See, we've had a similar situation with Windstream like that in Sanford.
Yeah.
Scrubbing the ticket.
They would clear the ticket as no conflict, and then we would have to 3-hour it, and then they still didn't come out there, so we dug with due diligence, of course, and we ended up hitting it, and then they sent us a bill for it after they cleared themselves on the ticket. So it's just kind of, I mean, not really a whole lot you can do about it. That's what happened,
Yep.
And that wasn't just one time either, that's been a couple times, so.
They don't want to pay that fee for the transmissions. They're just like, no, conflict.
Well, Jerry, next time we get together is gonna be December the 14th, but since it does meet every other month. Thanks everybody for being here. Come back, I gave you some free stuff. And I gave you a t-shirt too, so you're obligated now.
You travel a little way to get here.
Okay, I love my job and working for the town. I love working with contracts. I have a one-on-one personal relationship with you. I see somebody's ticket come on, I will sit there and find this. I want to do it, and you got a job. And you wait on me to do. So you can get your job done.
Your facility.
Yeah, the only thing that this type of the town have a meeting with me and start the project. One clue that where everybody. So when the ticket goes due, because I called and I called and I called, nobody answered. I called, I'm turning it on and I'm waiting for someone to show me what this project is. I'm mad after I don't get it done and the ticket goes over, we're gonna stop and call. First of all, you should have me on the lines.
Yeah, the pre-comments.
Nobody had me in on nothing at the time.
That's a good point.
Dangerous too, with power. It's like one place and it's in High Plain, it has that like double powerful power line.
Eastchester and Phillips.
Yeah, it's like, it's so crazy amount of power it's on that system.
There's a substance out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, figure out that cable's huge. I mean, it makes me nervous just walking there, you know. It runs underground. It's like, God, you better open feet over that.
Anything else?
I'm, oh,
Everything else?
No, I don't.
anybody online have anything?
Good.
Tasha, do you want to put your contact info on here? I think you're with the city of Durham Public Works. I need to reach out to you. Is there an office phone or email?
Best is by email, Tasha, TASHA.Johnson.
Would you type it in, please, in the chat?
I certainly will, yes.
Okay, and I'll put that on the sign-in sheet. Thank you. All right, folks, that's all I have. I'm gonna stop
That
recording.
sign up sheet we did with the